Yes, I originally was supposed to be doing a different fanfiction today, but the said fanfiction I'm not done reading yet. A couple of my requests are long stories. So the creator decided to have me read a shorter story for today's episode, saying that it's interesting to say the least. I don't know what it is, but I did not like her tone when she was telling me about said story. So let's find out what it is. Let's open this email up from the creator, click on the link. Alright, so it's called My Neighbor Is A Dinosaur. It's a web shows and Barney and Friends crossover. A bloody crossover. Probably with a nostalgia critic if it's web shows. With Barney the Dinosaur. Well, we shall see how bad this is. The author is Eurocat. Oh, no. No, it can't be. Web shows and oh no. Oh no. Oh, the summary. A new neighbor moves in next to the FanFic Critic. Oh, bollocks! Oh, you! Oh no. Bloody Christ. I really need to start looking at my bloody cell phone notifications! Hey, Leo. Oh my goodness, you're being so cute. Are you being cute? Well, the other mommy must be upstairs filming, huh? Would you like me to feed you? Because you're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. You're a very good boy. Right. There we go. Hopefully that will mean she'll be in a nap for quite a bit. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And the expression on her face, even though her eyes were closed, the expression on her face was rather suspicious. Well, Meg, if you are paralyzed, I'll explain everything after I'm done doing the review. But until then, just rest. Just rest. She's probably asleep. Her eyes were closed, so she was probably asleep. Oh God, she's gonna kill me. Well, I'll just explain everything to her when she wakes that I panicked and I didn't want... bloody Christ, I almost ruined my phone. God, Meg's gonna kill me. Well, I didn't turn this off, but knowing the creator... Look, I panicked, okay? I panicked. I probably shouldn't have done that. And I hope I did it right. I mean, her eyes were closed. She just did not have a... She had a peculiar expression on her face, so maybe she's not... But her eyes were closed, so maybe she is unconscious. Either way, she's downstairs. I mean, if you guys spied, then you obviously saw that she's, no, not on the floor. She's on the couch. I mean, not the most ideal couch to put her on, but that was the closest one available at the time. Yes, so I might as well explain why I knocked Meg out. It's because I'm reading a story about Barney the Dinosaur being our neighbor, and Meg does not have a good history with Barney the Dinosaur. In fact, the last story that she reviewed that involved Barney led up to, me doing something awful. So yes, I'm not sure how she would take this, especially seeing she had a very nasty row with the creator when I did that bloody square dancing fanfiction, where I think something physical happened. Because how Meg was acting afterwards, and how she's still acting, and it's been a few weeks at this rate. So I did what was best. I did what was best. I'll explain everything when she is awake, and if she wasn't actually knocked unconscious, and if she's slightly paralyzed, then she might already have a gist about why I did what I did, and hopefully she won't be angry. But if she's angry, then it would serve me right. It would definitely serve me right. So let's continue to read the summary of this bloody story. A new neighbor moves in next to the FanFic Critic. This wouldn't be unusual if the neighbor wouldn't be a big purple and green dinosaur named Barney. This story was posted on another account nearly a decade ago. It takes place before the reboot, so it won't take into account anything that's happening in the rebooted FanFic Critic series starring her identical auburn-haired cousin. Wait! Brown. Matches my vest, brown. Does this vest look auburn to you? No, it's brown. Does my hair look auburn to you? No, it's brown. It's brown. It's brown. Brown, not red or auburn. Bloody Christ. I know it's deliberate, and I don't care. It still pisses me off. Rated Fiction T. Well, at least it's not mature. Unless bloody Eurocat decided to put the inappropriate rating, which he better not have. It's humor friendship, it's 3 chapters and 2,999 words. You bloody smartass. It was published back in June of 2022 and it was updated on July 24th. Chapter 1. No special titles, just Chapter 1. It was a casual day at FFC's house. She was reading about fanfiction and got so mad at it, she punched her laptop. Okay. What's the matter? Said a voice in the room. Meg turned around and Lesbian Jesus stood in the corner. Now, I guess I can do her voice. Might as well do voice acting in this one. I hate it when you do this, said Meg. Lesbian Jesus smiled and said, You humans are quite interesting. Why should I miss out on the fun? The FFC sighed. She knew that arguing with her will lead to nowhere. So, what are you reading? Asked LJ. The FFC answered, It's just a terrible fan fiction about that stupid purple dinosaur Barney. I can't stand him. But everybody loved Barney when they were young, said Lesbian Jesus. Lesbian Jesus wouldn't know who Barney is. Well, I didn't. He's even more annoying than you, replied Meg. Lesbian Jesus looked somewhat annoyed at that remark, and she vanished in front of the FFC. Oh, trust me, Meg and I have both said way worse things to Lesbian Jesus than what this fanfic had us say. And Lesbian Jesus was like, Oh, you're so silly. Oh, go away. I wonder how she's doing. Well, that's one problem less. It should say that's one less problem. Why is Meg turning into Yoda? Said the FFC and continued to read the fanfic. Lesbian Jesus, meanwhile, appeared in front of the FFC's house. She thought, Time to use my powers to have some fun. She raised her hands, murmured a few words, and disappeared once again. The next day, FFC's neighbor came to a visit. She said that she decided to move out and that she already found somebody who will move in. A few hours later, a taxi arrived. There are no taxis where Meg and I live, but okay then. The two cousins came out of the house to greet their new neighbor, and when the door of the taxi opened, they were in for a surprise. It was Barney.
Hello, girls! You must be my new super-de-duper neighbors!
Said the pink dinosaur. I thought he was purple, and I know that was an atrocious impression. I don't care. The arrival was met with initial silence. Susan then introduced herself. Well, hello. I'm Susan, and as you can hear by my British accent, I'm not from here. I would not say that to... Wow. So you're not going to be the only one in the neighborhood that moved here recently. The FCC... Okay, so Meg apparently turned from fanfic critic to film thing. Looked shocked. She couldn't say even one word and held her razor in her hands for comfort. I guess she would kind of do that sometimes. Around me, at least. Susan continued. And this is Meg. Her job is to read fanfics. She read too many SpongeBob's fanfics, and since then, she lost it. For some time, she tried to kill herself all the time, but since then, she made a promise to stop because otherwise, she would have to deal with me.
Oh, you poor thing! Should I sing a song to you? I am sure that the only thing you need is a hug,
he said while approaching Meg. And then she snapped. She took her razor and screamed, "Don't touch me with your paws, you obnoxious excuse for kids' entertainment!" She was about to attack him with her razor, but Susan shot her with the face pistol just in time. Meg fell face first on the sidewalk. Oh, bloody Christ. And I wouldn't be doing it out in public, unless we both wanted to be carted off to the loony bin and me to federal prison. She can't stand you, you purple dope. You should leave her alone for a few days so that she calms down.
But being with friends is the best thing to do if one wants to be happy. I want to be her friend because I want to be the friend for everyone.
Susan looked annoyed and asked, "Do you want that she goes to jail?" Barney was confused.
No, I just want to have fun with her and cheer her up. So let's sing a song to wake her up.
Susan aimed with the face pistol at Barney's face. "Now listen to me, Sonny. If she goes insane and kills herself, then you will have to deal with me, and trust me, you don't want that to happen."
I understand,
said Barney with a sad voice. "Well, are you waiting for the seasons to change, or will you help me carry her into the house? Unlike what many fanfictions say, I'm not strong enough to carry her bridal style," said Susan. Yeah, I think I managed to do it once, but I think that was just adrenaline was rushing through me. That was after the face pistol incident. It's when I was trying to get her on the bed afterwards, after, Archangel scolded me and all. But yes, aside from that, couldn't really pick her up like that. Definitely not. They brought Meg into the house. Susan took care of her, and Barney went to his new home to spend the whole day painting it in a purple and green color. Now that's the end of bloody chapter 1. Well, I suppose we can do chapter 2. Let's see what fanfic Susan was reviewing. Oh, My Neighbor Is A Dinosaur. Oh, Eurocat. Oh, what about us? She's got me in a plot of cellar. Meg! You're probably wondering where Susan is. Let's just say she's in a spot where I don't have to worry about her interrupting me for the rest of this fucking review. Meg! Bollocks. You have no one to blame. No one to blame but yourself. You were the one that decided to jump tackle Meg with no rhyme or reason. She had every right to react the way she did. Oh, out of all the places, though, did she have to put me in here? I suppose so. I guess I'll have to wait for her to finish the review then, won't I? I just hope it doesn't drive her batty. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da, lesbian Jesus, blah, 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 blah. Okay, da-da-da, Barney's our neighbor, da-da-da-da-da, Susan knocks me out with Facebook, blah, 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 bam. So let's do chapter 2. Meg was still unconscious on her bed. Susan got worried, so she decided to wake her up. Should I do voice acting? Yeah, whatever. I kill faggots is writing fanfictions again. Meg immediately opened her eyes and jumped off her bed, screaming dramatically, "No!" Calm down, Meg. I just said that to wake you up. I had to use the face pistol again. You don't say. No. I just imagined her whipping out the gun and pointing it at me and blasting me on a... What happened in the last chapter? How did that get knocked out? Oh, yes, landing face first on a sidewalk. I just imagined all of that. Stop scaring me this way, Susan. What you said is almost as horrible as the nightmare I had. You had a nightmare? Asked Susan. It was so awful. I dreamed that a new neighbor moved in and it was Barney. Just the thought of that sends shivers on my spine. Meg, I have something to tell you. Could you sit down? What is it? Just sit down. Meg did what Susan told her. What you said wasn't a dream. Barney is our new neighbor. Meg's eyes widened. Now, Meg, don't do anything dumb. Yes, he is annoying, but that's it. The best thing is that we both just ignore him, and maybe he'll get bored and move away. You can't expect me to live like this. It's either him or me. He isn't worth the trouble. Now, or I'm sorry, I will now leave so that you can cool down. Meg started walking in circles and thought, this can't be possible. It's like I'm trapped in a fan fiction that's mocking my existence. She then started working on a plan. She will need a weapon, but she can't use her razor. That would be too obvious. There has to be something in the house. Wait a second. Susan has a real gun. She waited until 2 a.m. At this time, Susan is sleeping, and then nothing can wake her up. No comment. Meg walked into Susan's room and picked up the gun. She was snoring the whole time. Now, the only thing I need to do is get a glove, wipe off all fingerprints, walk to Barney's house, shoot him, run back to my house, and get rid of the evidence. When the police will come, I'll just act shocked and all problems are gone. Honey, you need to watch more true crime. It doesn't work like that. They'll find out that it's you. Yes. Why am I giving my stupid fanfic version of me logic? As Meg went down the stairs, she murmured, "One bullet and all my problems will be gone." Just as she said that, she stepped on her cat sleeping on the stairs. Meg lost her balance and fired off the gun, and she fell down the stairs, hitting her head so hard that she was unconscious. With how our stairs are designed, I'd probably be dead. Just as... Oh, I'm sorry. She was rushed to the hospital. The next day, Susan visited her, and to her surprise, Barney came too. To whose surprise? Susan or Barney? Okay, I guess it's supposed to be Susan. What are you doing here?
I came to visit your cousin. If somebody visits you at the hospital, you know that they are a real friend.
You're not going anywhere near her. Since you came here, you only cause troubles.
But I only want that everyone is my friend,
frowned Barney. Do you remember what happened the last time?
Don't worry, Susie. We're at this wonderful hospital with all these hard-working doctors and nurses and a lot of their super-duper straitjackets and tranquilizers. Nothing can go wrong.
Susan looked angry and just said, "Wait here. I'll go to her and ask if she wants to see you." Oh
boy, I bet she can't wait to see me,
said Barney joyfully. Susan rolled her eyes and went to see Meg. The doctor told her that Meg woke up and that she was fine. She knocked on the door and went into the room. Meg was lying on the bed. "What happened?" asked Meg. "You probably wanted to do something stupid because Barney moved in next door." Meg looked confused. "Who's Barney?" "Barney the Dinosaur. The guy that makes your blood boil as soon as you hear his name." Meg looked even more confused. Did the doctors give me morphine or something? I don't remember any Barney. Susan thought, she has partial amnesia. Her memories of Barney are gone. If I would introduce him to her now, she might not attack him again, if she recovers her memory. Susan then went to Barney and allowed him to visit Meg. He went to Meg's room and Susan followed in case something goes wrong. "Who are you?" asked Meg.
"I'm your new neighbor, Barney. When I heard that you had an accident, I wrote this song for you."
He started singing.
"Fanfiction's addictions going insane, seeing the same typos again and again. School grades, razor blades, a cupcake or two. All these precious lovely things make me think of you."
Susan cringed at the sugary lyrics. Meg, however, looked at Barney with tears in her eyes. She jumped off her bed and hugged him. She then said 4 little words that made Susan's jaw drop. "I love you, Barney." Well, I guess I can kind of understand why Miss Ding Dong downstairs decided to do what she did, but still. Right, let's read this final chapter. So if you guys are wondering what the heck happened, Susan attempted to do a Vulcan pinch on me, but like she had done, or more like what I had done that time where I didn't actually knock her out but made her paralyzed, she did the same thing for me. Except I didn't stay paralyzed for 15 minutes. It was like probably within a few minutes that I was able to snap out of it. I probably shouldn't have hijacked her review, but I'm a bit pissed, and I wanted to see just how bad this story was, because I'd rather have Susan be pissed at me than have Susan read the story, go nuts, and have a rehash of the frickin' square dancing monthly porno. But so far, aside from this story being kind of stupid, it doesn't seem that bad so far. "Excuse me," asked Susan. "I love Barney. He's my Prince Charming. It is love at first sight." "Oh, are you out of your bloody mind? You're a human, and that is a giant purple lizard." Actually, it's a man in a costume. Yelled Susan. "True love knows no boundaries," said Meg cheerfully. Then she turned to Barney. "So, Dino Boy, how about we go on a nice little date?"
I would love to. How about we go to
Wendy's. "Sounds awesome," said Meg as she grabbed and held Barney's arm tightly. Susan was speechless, and she was even more speechless at what she saw in the following days. Meg and Barney were constantly together, having date after date. Meg even began wearing a pink a pink bow and a green and purple dress, as well as pink ballet slippers. You would never catch me dead wearing those things. My God. Worst of all, Meg began to completely neglect her fan fiction review duty. If Meg stops being the fanfic critic, then who will replace it? Hopefully not me. Ah ha ha! Ah ha ha! I see what you did there, Eurocat. Foreshadowing to the new series. Ah-ha! I can get away with this because I'm not actually the fanfic critic, so the creator... well, actually, recent events have proven that that is not entirely true. I can face the creator's wrath. Whatever. I don't care at this point. Then the door opened and Meg walked into the room. She brought a bouquet of flowers from Barney. What is with the gigantic ad in the middle of the screen? This is already the 5th one today. Is he for real? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Susan voice. This is only the 5th one today. Is he for real? So I asked Susan, what is with these freaking ads in the middle of the story? I mean, how the fuck am I supposed to read this with these freaking ads taking up most of the freaking screen? I don't remember fanfiction.net being this obnoxious when I was doing the web series. Christ! Finally, the rest of the story. That's not all, said Meg as she showed Susan her hand with an engagement ring on it. Susan was so shocked that at first she couldn't say one legible word. She clearly had enough and yelled, "Snap out of it, Meg! You can't be serious!" I can't believe what I'm hearing. If you can't accept us, then we can no longer be friends. He's a lizard, Meg. I love him. I want to be with him. I even want to have children with him. Children? You can't freaking have sex with a... Dinosaurs are lizards. You're a mammal, so it's not gonna work. Unless you learn how to lay eggs. Which you can't because you're a mammal! And his penis would... Okay then, enough of that. Enough of that. I don't need to think of Barney the Dinosaur's dick! Children! Yes, children, at least 10. This is supposed to be me? You want to adopt 10 children? I mean, if the conventional way fails, then adoption will do too, Meg giggled. Get to your senses, Meg, or I'll have to take drastic actions, said Susan in an enraged way. Meg was angry at what she just heard and stormed into her room. The next morning, Susan woke up and noticed that the house was awfully silent. Meg, can I come in and talk with you? She asked, but got no reply. She proceeded to open the door and saw a letter on Meg's bed. Dear Susan, you could have been part of our lives, but you chose to prevent our happiness. We decided to become traveling children's entertainers across the country. As you are reading this, we are going to Las Vegas to get married. We do not wish to be bothered at our elopement. Farewell, Meg and Barney. Okay, first off, whatever. Fucking stupid. I wouldn't abandon Susan like this no matter what. Love her to death. I'd never abandon her like that. And I most certainly wouldn't fall in love with the frickin' Barney the Dinosaur. Even with amnesia, I wouldn't fall in love with Barney the Dinosaur. I swear if I get my hands on that bloody dinosaur, I'll make sure that his species goes extinct for good this time. After a few thoughtful seconds, Susan begrudgingly yelled, Lesbian Jesus, come here right now. What is it? Asked Lesbian Jesus as she appeared. Meg wants to marry Barney. Fix this. I can't do that. Meg truly loves Barney, so my hands are tied. You're a goddess. Do something. I can't. My hands are tied. Lesbian Jesus said as she lifted her hands. They were literally tied. Do I need to know why this is the case? Well, you did call me at a rather private moment, but even if my hands were free, I can't do anything. So Lesbian Jesus is apparently into bondage. Something I didn't need to know. Thank you, Eurocat. Meg truly loves Barney, and as such my powers can't interfere. Then get me to Vegas. First, we need a plan. Tell me, how exactly did this happen? You know how this happened. You're the one that orchestrated this by having Barney be our neighbor. Yeah, that's what I had read. From what I had quickly glanced at, because the story is so simplistic. It didn't take long to read the first chapter when I quickly glanced at it. She fell down the stairs and hit her head. That's it. If one hit to the head caused this, then another should reverse it. Oh, encouraging violence. Are you for real? Haven't you seen that Tom and Jerry cartoon where Tom thinks he's a mouse after getting hit on the head? He becomes normal again with a second blow. Where you cause a concussion and then the brain swells and then they have permanent brain damage. As one who's been on the receiving end on blunt objects in the past, I should know. Oh no, I said, oh crap, whatever, maybe she... It's too late. Too late. Are you seriously suggesting that I should take medical advice from a cartoon? With all respect, Susan, but in our reality, one can be revived a dozen times, switch bodies with their cat, and go clinically insane from reading amateur stories. Are you still doubting the medical advice of Hanna-Barbera? I guess she has a point. So, how do I get to Vegas? All you have to do is click your heels and say there's no place like Vegas. Well, I guess it's better than her spanking Susan in the ass and having Susan fly through the sky to Vegas like in those frickin' Milo Kitty stories. The burping problem one, I think, was what had that frickin' whatever the fuck that was. Oh, you need to go somewhere. Okay, what? Bye! And you'll be there in 2 seconds. I could have been there in 2 seconds. Yelled Susan before she closed her eyes, angrily clicked her heels and said the magic word, and when she opened her eyes, she stood in a city that never sleeps. In the city that never sleeps. In front of her was a casino, to her right was a strip club, and to her left was a Walmart. Again, they spelled Walmart wrong, but whatever. Where the bloody hell does she want to get married? Said Susan as she turned around and saw a place called Heart Attack Grill. When Susan opened the door to the restaurant, she saw a one-of-a-kind sight. The restaurant was packed with obese people gorging enormous quantities of junk food in their greasy plates while surrounded by waitresses in tacky nurse outfits. Then Susan heard some very off-key singing. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! I love you, you love me, let's get married finally writing a love story, yet untold a bond of a woman and a dinosaur. That was fucking stupid and that didn't even... Barney and Meg were at the other side of the building on a plastic altar. Barney was in a too small groom's outfit and Meg in a white wedding dress which looked like several layers of curtains put together. Next to them was a seemingly intoxicated priest who marries any couple for $20.
Barney, do you want to take Meg as your wife? I super-dee-duper-doo.
Meg, do you want to take Barney as your
husband?
I super-dee-duper-doo. I super-dee-duper, I'm gonna scream! If anyone objects to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your... or be silent forever. I object! Shouted Susan. Meg burst into an angry rant. I told you not to bother us. Barney and I are meant to be, and nothing will come between us. I will stand my ground, and there's nothing that can change that. Meg proceeded to stomp on the ground. What? With all of her force to demonstrate her determination, so I'm throwing a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old? Oh my fucking god. Which resulted in the heel of her cheap dollar store slipper to break off. She lost her balance and fell off the altar, crashing her head first into a table of greasy burgers and slimy mayonnaise, leading to her being unconscious. Well, at least it didn't have to involve Susan getting physical with me, so there's that. Susan rushed to Meg and so did Barney.
Congratulations! When Meg wakes up again, she will be back to normal, meaning true love will no longer interfere with this godly punishment,
said Barney before he began pulling the zipper on his back. Susan was shocked because the guy in the costume was none other than M. Night Shyamalan! What? Susan needed a second to comprehend what just happened before she asked Mr. Shyamalan, what do you mean by godly punishment? Lesbian Jesus summoned me to play Barney the Dinosaur because your cousin insulted her. She even made everyone not question the ridiculousness of the situation, including you. So all this craziness that just happened is because of her. Was she also responsible for Meg falling in love?
This happened unintentionally. Even Lesbian Jesus was shocked and couldn't stop it because it was an act of true love. Anyway, tell Lesbian Jesus I'm always available for a plot twist.
And with that, Mr. Shyamalan promptly left.
Lesbian Jesus!
Shouted Susan. You called? Said Lesbian Jesus as she appeared. You caused all of this. I was just trying to teach her a lesson.
Teach her a lesson? How dare you? Do you think we are just fictional characters that can be put in silly situations for entertainment?
Lesbian Jesus looked smugly to the side. Then she said, I admit this went a little too far. Not even I could have seen this coming.
So, how are you going to atone for this?
Asked Susan in an annoyed manner. I'll cover the ridiculous costs that your joke of a healthcare system has.
Deal. Getting diabetes here is borderline death sentence now. How about you get us back home and please change Meg's clothes back to normal?
Lesbian Jesus raised her hand within a split second and Susan and Meg were outside their house. Conveniently, Meg just woke up at that moment.
Ugh, my head. Are you okay, my dear?
Yeah, my head hurts. I just had the worst nightmare imaginable. As Meg got up in front of her house, she spotted that the house on the other side is painted a bright purple and green. Oh dear God, I need a drink, said Meg as she put her hand on her forehead.
We both do, Meg. We both bloody do.
And so, once again, the everyday stress of getting solved by alcohol, humanity's greatest invention. And that's the end of the story. Yes, that was wow. That was wow. Wow. You're okay. You think you're so funny, don't you? Don't you? You think you're so funny. So funny. I did not like this story. And I know that Susan wouldn't have liked it if she read the rest of it. I mean, the fact that it caused her to go into such a panic that she went flying down the stairs just to knock me out. Yeah. Yes. Eurocat's library is an interesting assortment of stories, I will say. I mean, some of them are pretty decent, like the Powerpuff Girl episode, or fanfic that Susan had reviewed that he had done, and that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Some of them sound like they have potential of being pretty decent, but then you get stupid frickin' ding-dongs, Spanish fly invasion, Sailor Moon and her breasts of regret. I mean, the Murder, She Wrote story, that was pretty decent. But then you get this crap. My Neighbor the Dinosaur. Wow, I mean, it still wasn't as bad as Spanish Fly Invasion. But very insulting having me frickin' marry Barney the Dinosaur. Are you serious? That would never happen. Even if I had amnesia, I wouldn't marry Barney the fucking dinosaur. Fuck. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you liked it, please be sure to leave a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Sue would greatly appreciate it. She'll see you in the next episode. Bye! Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay, yeah. How bad was the story? Let's just say it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. Did I actually knock you out? No. You had, paralyzed me, missed your mark. Instead of being paralyzed for 15 minutes, though, it was only for a few. It was a bit shaky and I'm still a bit stiff, but I'll manage. Oh. Sorry for bulging that. That wasn't my intention. Sorry about, teleporting you down into the cellar. It's the only place I could think of at the time where I would know that you wouldn't be able to interrupt me, so... I understand why you did what you did, Meg, so I get it. Why the fuck did you do what you did? Well, to be honest, I panicked. I mean, after that row that you and the creator had gotten yourselves into, after that square dancing story, I just was paranoid, you know. I was worried about how you were going to react, and I was afraid that the creator was going to do something to you, because even though you haven't said anything to me, I think she did do something to you during your last confrontation, and, well, I just panicked. Well, I guess I can understand. Someone understood after reading the story myself, but it was a bit of an overreaction. I suppose it was a bit of an overreaction. Meg. What happened between you and the creator the other day? Yes, there was a physical confrontation between me and the creator. It's more one-sided, but she said something that pissed me off. I tried to punch her. Obviously that didn't work because, hello, fictional character, she's real. And she's like, oh, you can't hurt me. And then she gave me a look and said, but I can hurt you. And she had the face pistol and she shot me with it. Are you alright? I'm fine. She said that any pain that I felt would be like just a memory of the incident. She didn't cause any new damage. That's what she had reassured me before she allowed me to wake up. You should have... Why didn't you tell me?
Because I knew that you would flip out if you knew. That's why I didn't want to tell you, but it seems like you kind of figured it out anyway, so...
Bloody great. You know, I was hoping she had left you alone for up until the other day, obviously, but now I have to worry about her going after you too.
I get your concern. I don't think she'll do anything like that again. I mean, I did provoke her, technically. I was the one that tried to punch her, so...
Why did you try punching her?
Well, the thing that she had brought up was when she had me kill you in that freak out episode that you had done. And she had said it originally was meant to be a joke and that she was thinking about keeping you permanently killed off after that, and I just saw red, so...
Well, I can see why you flipped. Are you sure you're going to be okay, dear?
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Like she had said, she didn't do any permanent damage. It was just a dramatic flare-up. That's how she worded it.
Meg, I am sorry about attacking you. Again, it was spur of the moment. Wasn't really thinking how I was coming across when I went charging down the stairs. I shouldn't have done what I did, and, well, I'm sorry, especially seeing that I botched it and all.
Oh, I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have teleported you downstairs,
Meg, I'm gonna stop you right there. You don't need to apologize for teleporting me downstairs. How you reacted was, well, relatively reasonable. You reacted way calmer than I would have in that situation, so you don't need to apologize.
Well, thank you for understanding, but I still should have kept my temper in check, so sorry.
It's alright, love. I'm sorry too. What exactly are your plans for the rest of the evening?
Well, I gotta go out and mow, so if you want, you can edit the episode. Everything should be on the computer and stuff, so...
Well, that sounds good. Gotta see how bad it is anyway, so... I'll do that.
Alright, well, wish you luck.
Thank you.